Hello everybody, welcome back to the Stacey Best Preview Show. I'm your host, Jake Tong. Before we get into everything, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're on the way to 500 subs before the end of 22. If we could do that, that'd be great. Local-ish derby Tuesday night, Doncaster. Are we counting it as a derby, Dan? Just before I introduce you.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's close enough. Yeah.
Well, okay, we'll call it a derby. Doncaster Rovers, which means we've got the brilliant 18 Dapper. Dan, doing all right, mate? I know it's a bit toxic around your end at the minute, but how's it going?
Yeah, life in general is pretty good. If you take football out of it.
Yeah, I think Donny is struggling. Right, let's straight into the football then, Dan. We met sort of December, November time, wasn't it? We last played each other at the Keep Moat or the Eco Power, whatever you guys seem to call it nowadays. Just curious to see what, you've had some good results between then and now. Obviously, the MK result was a standout. The Sunderland result was a standout. But then you've also had the inconsistencies of Plymouth, Wigan, and then Rotherham United. Just tell us how it's sort of been since that point.
Honestly, mate, it has been such a bizarre season. I think when we chatted last time in November, I was still optimistic that change was going to happen and we were going to see us turn a corner because we weren't performing particularly well. Well, we've not been performing particularly well since February 2021, maybe.
Yeah.
It's been a long, hard time as a Rovers fan. But yeah, there were a lot of players coming in the summer. Not sure if recruitment was adequate enough to kind of backfill those gaps that we had from the season before. And we've had a ton of injuries, so many injuries, and players still nowhere near coming back, which I find very strange. But yeah, like you say, there's been some good results, like your MK Dons and your Sunderland away from home. You're not expecting anything from those, the decent teams at League One. But then it shows that we can go toe-to-toe with teams, but that inconsistency just absolutely killed us this season. And to not turn up in a local derby against Rotherham at home, getting beat 5-0, can't defend that. And then Saturday, just capitulation in the last 45 minutes, conceding 4. It's screaming relegation, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll try and keep you happy and we'll focus on the MK and Sunderland results. The MK obviously was a 1-0 away win, and then Sunderland, the 2-1 win. Of those two performances, which one did you think was the best, and which are the qualities that you saw in that Donny Rovers team that thought, we might have a hope and else chance of actually staying up this year?
I think they're both similar, to be fair, in terms of performance. I think we saw a team that were fighting for the cause. They had a bit of passion, a bit of desire, and they actually wanted to play for the shirt in both of the games. I think the one that stands out for me is probably the MK Dons game. I think they're a well set up team. They play very good football. I think we hit Sunderland at the right time. They're kind of going through a bit of a patch where they didn't have a manager. They just got rid of Johnson, and it was up in the air if Roy Keane was coming and what have you. So I think we hit them at the right time. But you can't take it away. There was 40,000 people there, and regardless of where you are as a club, if you've got 40,000 people behind you, then it's like having an extra man on the pitch. But having said that, getting the goal, the 2 goals in the first half, kind of turned that atmosphere on its head, and you had 40,000 people kind of putting pressure on the team, which can go the other way. So I'd say the MK Dons won for me because of how established they are and how well set up they are. I think getting a result there was kind of a point where I thought there's green shoots of recovery here, plenty of points to play for, maybe we can get out of it. But then that's followed up by, after MK Dons, it was Ipswich. They're a good team, only got beat 1-0, but in fairness, they outplayed us on the night. And then Portsmouth on Saturday, which, not good.
yeah, Stadium MK isn't an easy place to go, as we found out on last Saturday. Right, I'm going to have to talk about Donny back down to League Two, Dan. I know it's not great, but if you guys were to succumb to the drop this year, plenty of positives to go into next season, and League Two is an easier league to get out of, given the fact there are 4 promotion spaces, and you guys have done it before. Are you confident that you guys will be able to rebuild and come straight back up, or?
As we sit now, no, I'm really not. I think we seem to be building something at the minute with the players that we've recruited on 18-month contracts. You've got Younger at the back. Rio Griffiths came in, and we've kind of, I don't know if we've built a squad with an eye on trying to survive in League One in this final part of the season, or if it has been one eye on League Two and building a squad that has got the capability of bringing us back straight away. But based on performances where we've just crumbled, I think we might struggle in League Two. We just seem so lightweight. Soon as a goal goes in, heads go down, and once one goes in, you've got 2, 3, or 4 following. I mean, prime examples: Morecambe away, being 3-0 up at half time, throwing that game away in the second half and getting beat 4-3. Professional footballers, mate, they should be able to shut up shop and manage a game out, and we've just not been able to do that this season. And I think if we've got that core group of players that we've currently got, those same frailties will be there in League Two, and it's a much more physical league. So I think we need some shrewd additions to kind of not make us bullies, but make us a bit more physically commanding in games. But if it's the squad that we've got now, I don't think we'll bounce straight back.
Yeah, I think we've got to have words about that Morecambe game, because Morecambe winning put us in the bottom 4. So we should give you a slap on the wrist for now. But obviously, you guys have changed managers since we last met each other. Richie Wellens out, Gary McSheffrey in. I believe he was appointed on an interim basis for a start, and then he's been given the job full time. What are your thoughts on that, and how is McSheffrey coping in his first sort of full-time senior role?
It's a bit of a strange one with the McSheffrey appointment, because Richie got relieved of his duties, and in fairness, I think rightfully so, it wasn't working. We weren't getting results or performances, and when you're not getting those, then you look at a manager's position as untenable. I do feel for him with the amount of injuries that we've had this season, but he recruited a lot of players who have just not hit the ground running and not done the business. So unfortunately, in football, it is a results-based game, and he got chopped. But as you say, McSheffrey got put in as an interim, and then the strange thing for me is the board have come out and said we've got this 140 applicants. There's applicants that have got experience at Championship level and Premier League level. So as a fan base, we're thinking, nice one, here we go. We're going to get a decent manager in who's going to shake it up a little bit, new ideas, and hopefully get the best out of a squad that I think is a League One squad with a few more additions. I think we've got quality there. It's just not quite worked for whatever reason this season. McSheffrey's come out and publicly said, I don't want the job. I'm quite happy at under 18s and under 16s level. We go through a full recruitment process, which the board say is the best way of doing it, to see what the best applicant is and get the right person in. So yeah, from an outsider looking in, we're thinking Premier League, Championship level experience. McSheffrey's going to kind of steady the ship, and then we're going to get somebody in. And then they announce Gary McSheffrey. And I think performances have improved, but then you still get the Rotherham game and the Portsmouth game where those same frailties are still evident, even though we've got a new manager. He's not won many, and his record doesn't really speak too highly, but I think performances overall have improved since Richie Wellens was in charge, but still not quite enough for me.
Yeah, I can imagine it was quite underwhelming when that announcement came out. You touched on the Pompey game there, obviously 4-0 at the hands of our former manager, Danny Cowley. Second half capitulation, Dan, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, so I've spoken to Tom from 4-0 Written All Over It, quite a good content creator. He was down at the ground. He's done a blog for that, and he said first half we were the better team. We just didn't put away any of those chances. And at any level of football, if you've got chances that you don't put away, you will get punished. But I mean, at half time, you'd expect Danny to put a rocket up the backsides and say, look, we're at home. We need to take this game to them. You can accept a 1 or 2-0 defeat after a good team talk at half time, but to throw away 4 goals, it just shows how poor we are in terms of lack of character or lack of backbone as a team. And it's frustrating to say as a fan, because you want to get back, you want to get behind the lads. But I mean, I've seen a shot today on Twitter where Aidan Barlow gets nutmegged around between 18-yard line and halfway line, and he just turns around and jogs back. For me, it's unacceptable. Even if you have been nutmegged and you've been mugged off, you're not helping your team out by just watching the player then run towards your defence, and it's just putting too much pressure on the back four and the keeper. And when you're doing that, you're going to lose more games than you draw or win.
We'll try and be positive now and talk about the January transfer window, because that was actually, from the outside looking in, that was quite a good window for Doncaster. Obviously, Josh Martin, on loan from Norwich, who had been at MK Dons, Ollie Young, you touched on, and Rio Griffiths from Olympic Lyon, who spent time with Spurs as a kid. You're thinking, how's he ended up in Doncaster? But, I mean, a good window from you guys. I mean, Jonathan Mitchell also came in, a bit of a questionable reputation given last year at Northampton as well. Just sort of run us through how those guys have got on as well.
They've got on well. I think they've done all right in terms of integrating into the team. They just seem to have fallen into the same trap as everybody else, though. But as I said earlier, I don't know if it's keeping one eye on League Two next year, and we're building kind of the squad to compete to get back in. We do need more additions, in my opinion, to kind of make us a bit more physical. But in terms of the recruitment, I think it was a really good window for the position that we're in. I mean, we're not a very lucrative option, are we? Bottom of the league, ridiculous goal difference. And as a player looking at Doncaster Rovers, you'd think, do I want to be playing League Two football in a team that seemingly can't defend, don't score too many? But as a recruitment team, I think they've done well to get the likes of Ollie Younger in. Josh Martin's a fantastic player. I think he's given us a lot more going forward. And then Rio Griffiths, I mean, like you say, from Lyon, totally didn't expect that. And they've all looked decent players, but there's just something in the club where there's just a lack of confidence and a lack of self-belief, I think.
Getting sort of more on the Lincoln trail, we'll cast your mind back to the thrilling game at the Keepmoat earlier in the season, the 0-0 that had about 3 shots on target all game. What were your thoughts on that? Yeah, what were your thoughts on the game, Dan? Because I was sat in the away end, and stood in the away end, and I was half asleep most of the game.
It's one that's kind of gone from memory, mate. To be honest, as you say, there weren't too much to shout about. I think it were two teams that didn't want to lose a game, but didn't really have the belief to go out and try and win it. I mean, there was only a few shots on the goal, and yeah, it's one that's just chalked off as in the history books as a ball draw, isn't it?
And just curious to get your thoughts on Lincoln. Obviously, we've brought in a former fan favourite of yours, John Marquis, hit the ground running, which I'm sure you expected. Obviously, he was linked with a return back to Donny, but he's chose to come here. Your thoughts on Lincoln and how we're getting on this year? I know you haven't seen us so much, but I know you do your League One reviews, and you probably talked about us quite a bit.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I think you've got a squad that's capable of better than your league position. I think the home form is impacting you guys massively. Is it the worst home form in the league?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And Tuesday nights against the worst away record in the league, I think. So it's lined up for another ball draw, isn't it? But yeah, I think as a squad, you guys will be fine. I think you'll avoid the drop and push on next year. And Marquis is a fantastic addition. 3 goals in 5. I don't think he'd have done that at Donny because we don't create enough. But with you guys, you've got the creative players that can find John. He'll be in the right place at the right time, and I think he'll get the goals to steer you guys away from safety.
And you guys had John in his prime, scoring bucket loads of goals in League Two and then again in League One. Just tell us. I mean, we've seen 5 games of him. We've seen 5 90 minutes from him. But just tell us a little bit more sort of in depth about what sort of made John work at Doncaster, just how good a player he was.
I think what helped John at Donny was Ben Whiteman and James Coppinger, Malik Wilkes, the players in and around him. You'll always get 100% effort from John. And what you'll find is if the game's not quite going his way, toys will get chucked out of the pram, the dummy will get spat out. But I like to see that as a player. It shows that they actually care for what they're doing. As I say, he'll be in the right place at the right time. He can find little pockets of space, and he can find spaces in the box that you don't even know are there. And as long as you've got the players that are putting the balls in the right areas, John will get on the end of it. And he'll score a hatful. He was getting 20 goals a season at Doncaster. Didn't quite work out at Portsmouth. But yeah, I think he'll do all right at Lincoln. But what you'll get from him is effort every single game, and that's, as a fan, that's all I can ask for.
We'll move on because I'm conscious of time. Obviously, the game kicking off in a couple of minutes. Predictions then for Saturday, for Tuesday. Sorry, Saturday. I'm getting ahead of myself. Tuesday then. I know you sort of alluded to you've got the worst away record. We've got the worst home record. It's screaming out for a 0-0, really, isn't it?
It is, but I think with our frailties and Lincoln seemingly turning a bit of a corner after January, you can only see another defeat on the road for Donny, and I've gone with Lincoln 3, Rovers 0.
Oh Christ! Okay, not much to live up to then. Thanks for coming on, Dan. I know you're a YouTuber yourself. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? And obviously, you're taking part in a charity game as well towards the end of the year. Do you want to just let our listeners know about that?
I am, mate. Yes. So YouTube is 18 Dapper. Just search that on YouTube and you should find it. It's Doncaster Rovers content and League One content, probably League Two content next year. And I've been lucky enough to be selected for the Eve Merton Dreams Trust charity game. This is the 3rd season that I've done it. There's ex-pros that come and play, fundraisers, and we're playing Sheffield Wednesday on the 7th of May. There's a link in the videos on my channel to the donation page. So raising money for cancer charity based in Doncaster. It's good. I'm a footballer for a day.
Yeah, go and check Dan out. There's a review show sort of every Sunday as well for you to get your teeth stuck into. Really good content from Dan, a really good YouTuber. But thanks for coming on, Dan. Massively appreciated. We hope we see you next season because it's a local game for us. But again, thank you for coming on, mate. Such a top man. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road next time against Fleetwood, so that means we'll have Ben back on the channel. But we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.